So now we're going to be discussing rounding of numbers. And in order to understand the concept and the rules of rounding, it's a good idea for us to visualize this. So I'm going to show you a couple of slides, and you're going to see exactly how you can visualize when you're rounding numbers. Now we're going to practice with some easy numbers, and then we'll move into some harder ones. So imagine a number line. And there's an island on the left and an island on the right, and then there's a middle section, okay? We're going to pretend that we are rounding a number to the nearest hundred, and it's going to be somewhere between 100 and 200. So that means that the number is going to be somewhere between or somewhere from 101 to 199, because those are the only numbers that could round in between there anyway, okay? So these two numbers on the ends are what we call our benchmark number, but those really are just one of the two hundreds that we're going to round to, okay? In the middle, what would be halfway in between 100 and 200? Well, I'll give you a clue. It always has the number 5 in it. So since I'm in between the 100 and 200 mark, the number that's at the midpoint in between them is going to be 150. Now I said but I want to make sure you understand it's 100, and then you have to think, okay, now I go to 50, okay? So 150 is the halfway point. So now if I want to estimate, if I want to take a number and I want to figure out which way it rounds, I just have to imagine where it would fall on a number line. So we are going to put those numbers back in. We're going to do this again with a number that is going to round to either 500 or 600. So knowing how to find that midway point is going to help us with rounding, okay? And it'll help explain the rules that we use. So what number is halfway between 500 and 600? Well, it's going to be in the middle, and that's going to be 550, because we're already in the hundreds. So it's not like it's going to go up more than the 100. It's either 500, between 500 and 600, but I do need to put a 10 in there somewhere. So that's where the 550 comes from. All right, so we're going to try to round where 522 would go. So if you look at the number line, where would 522 fall? Would it be falling between 500 and 550, or between 550 and 600? So you should know that it falls closer on the first half, between 500 and 550. So now the question is, does 522 look like it's closer to 500 or 600? Well, if it falls before the 550, it's going to be closer to the 100 that is to the left, or the 100 that is down below it, which is 500. So anytime that you have 500 and then you have something that is less than 50, it's going to round down to the 100, 500. Okay? All right, so let's do this again. To come back to our 100 and our 200. We know that the halfway point is 150. We're now going to place 172 on the number line. So would 172 fall between 100 and 150, or between 150 and 172? So you should be able to tell that 172 is past 150, so it's going to fall to the right-hand side. And then from there, you should be able to see that clearly 172 is going to be closer to rounding to 200, because it's 72 for the tens and the ones, which is past 50. All right. How about between 900 and 1,000? What's halfway between 900 and 1,000? Well, it's 950. So let's say I wanted to place the number 950. Well, 950 is exactly in the middle. So what do we do then? Because it's not technically any closer to either of the hundreds. So the rule is that anytime that the number is actually the midpoint or the middle number between the two, you're going to always round it up. So it goes up to the 1,000. Okay? If we're gonna like visualize this a little bit when we're doing our page and our notes, and I may draw out a few number lines just until you get the hang of it, but it's going to be real easy to understand the rules in light of the visualization of this number.